From white line to white line, but it makes it look very, very smooth.
Yeah, well, Chris Walker always looks like he's putting in double the effort to any mere mortal anyway. So Chris Walker still leads in by 2. Then it's 4. Neil Hodgson that's closing up on Chris Walker. And Hodgson was almost half a second faster than anybody else, including Walker, in qualifying. So, somewhere, the statisticians tell me that maybe Hodgson has a bit more to follow. Over the line last time round, Walker, Hodgson, Hayden, Reynolds, we see them. Mackenzie closing in 5th with Crawford on his tail in 6th place, 2.4 seconds back on the leader. As we come to Park Corner, and once again, I have the feeling that Ducati is just a tad quicker. I think it's more for the drive he gets out of Charlie's corner onto the back straight.
Onto the back straight. It's just that, as we said before, a little bit more rideable. He can wind the power a bit sooner, where the Suzuki's a little bit more fiery. We saw how well the Suzuki comes out of slower, tighter corners like the hairpin.
Dear me, I tell you what, Scott, this is a hell of a race again in British Superbike racing. The crowds are still queuing to get into the gate at the moment. In fact, there's rumours that they're going to turn them away very soon. Look at Hodgson through here, off one side of the bike, off the other side of the bike. Absolutely incredible, getting his weight in the right place. That's up to nearly 150 miles an hour before breaking into this part of the circuit.
He's looking for a way through. He just can't find a way through. Walker is always a really wide rider to follow. So Hodgson here, he's desperately looking for an area to get past, but Walker's not going to make it easy for him,
maybe
is he?
he'll go over the top of him, because he's certainly getting enough air on that bike at the moment.
And knowing these two, I don't think that's out of the question.
No, indeed. And Hayden, well, Hayden's another one. If you look into his eyes just before a race, you'd run away scared. And he's in 3rd place at the moment on bike number 5. Then it's Reynolds. He's quick round here as well. We've seen, Plater. Now then, he's had a stop. I wonder why that is. So Steve Plater then has had a stop right at the top of the mountain. And we can take another look at it now. So Steve Plater coming to the top of the mountain. Over the mountain jump. That's like his chain's come off. I remember that. It happened in qualifying as well for him, so his chain has come off in the race. They've obviously got a slight problem there with the suspension on the bike, making it a bit loose when they come to the top of the mountain. And Steve Plater, he's rolling it back and putting it back on. So obviously Plater has put his chain back on, and then it has to stop, and he's going to be a long way back.
Yeah, that's not something you really need to be doing in the middle of a British Superbike race, is it? Rolling your own bike back to fix your chain.
Mark of the bloke, though, that he bothered. Lap 8, and it's still a battle between these, well, we'll say 5, because Neil Mackenzie can never be discounted, especially the mood he was in at Knockhill and this round here at Cadwell Park. Look at this, though. John Reynolds trying to get a drive on his teammate Hayden. He really is in the slipstream now, and he's going to have to make a pass on the brakes at the top of the hill. Can he do it up the inside?
Well, that certainly just goes to show those bikes are perfectly matched, which you'd expect coming from the same team.
Except when it comes to the brakes, because Hayden was better.
Yeah, Hayden's pretty brave on the brakes, but he's a very brave go-for-it rider anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, he's also had 1 or 2 tumbles this year, so, and I'll tell you what, the way that bike looks a bit looser, John Reynolds round Chris Curve. Walker leads on bike number 2. 4 still is Neil. Hayden up out of the seat. James Hayden gets the rear end of that bike absolutely lit up. He's gone wide and let little John through.
Doesn't get much looser than that, you're right, Keith.
And John Reynolds almost wiped Hayden's nose as well.
He didn't need another invitation. He's been looking for that opportunity lap after lap.
Well, Neil Mackenzie's next up to try and get Hayden as well. Over the hill we go, and 5 of them absolutely at it, hammer and tong. They've dropped John Crawford a little bit now, but really the battle is just rife. Look at this down at the hairpin. I
wonder if Hodgson couldn't go a little bit quicker, because they're still staying all bunched up. So I wonder if Walker's slowing the pace. But then again, don't forget, it's always easier to follow than it is to lead.
Well, I have to say that Chris Walker and Neil Hodgson are both pretty expert at leading. They've done it at world level as well. So I would say that whoever out front out of these two, well, in fact, what can I say? If John Reynolds is out in front as well, he's led many a race in his time without any difficulty. So either of the top 3 now. And
lest we forget, he was doing most of the winning at the beginning of the season.
Did you see that? Then that was loose there.
That's the opportunity Hodgson needs.
Yeah, Hodgson's right on it now. So that might give him an opportunity to get past Walker if he can in a straight line, because Walker lost all his drive out of Charlie's corner. And yeah, right on cue. Hodgson goes in front. A little bit of a mistake there for Chris Walker. Got the back end of that bike lit up. And and I heard a crash then. Definitely I heard somebody go down then. And it's Hayden's gone. Hayden's gone at Park. I heard the crash over my headphones, so Hayden has gone. He was yes, he has there. Oh, he won't be happy. Yeah, James Hayden, because he's still carrying a bit of injury as well. It's only a niggling injury, but
he was riding really well. He looked like he was keeping up with the front of the group, but the bike had been sideways.
John Reynolds, he went all agricultural on us then.
That was nearly both members of the team in half a lap.
John Reynolds taking right out the other side of the white line at Mansfield.
So, like I said, Keith, it looked like Hodgson did have a little bit of pace in the bag.
That was a great shout, but we'll take another look then at the overtake of, well, we already saw, there it goes. So that was Chris Walker sideways on, and that gave this man that we're looking at, Neil Hodgson, just the extra drive out of that turn onto the front straight. His bike's probably a little quicker anyway, so he used it to perfection. Hodgson then easing away, as you quite rightly said earlier on, he does have a bit of pace. Now Chris Walker has got a real problem with John Reynolds.
But we saw this sort of a situation at Knock Hill as well, and Hodgson was out in the lead at Knock Hill, and Walker just pegged him back. As soon as you put somebody in front of Walker, they need to start worrying.
I have a worry watching him on a monitor. So we're at Barn Corner then. Neil Hodgson leads on the INS GSE Ducati. Internet Network Services is the INS part of it. And they came on board just when this guy peaked out perfectly. Well, you've got to say Troy Bayliss is the reigning British champion from last year riding this motorcycle. This year his teammate has taken over. Neil Hodgson has absolutely been, well, on a day, virtually unbeatable. We've seen him win World Superbike Championship rounds, and I've got to say, in the mood he's in at this moment in time, Hodgson, Walker, Reynolds over lap 12. That's how they parted. Mackenzie still 4th, Crawford still 5th, and Sean Emmett on the Travis Perkins Honda in 6th place, and he genuinely has been enjoying himself around here. Lester Harris had a job to get him off the bike.
Yeah, it's just what they needed, the mental lift of getting a good result, so hopefully it all hangs together for him. Talking about last year, this is the same podium as last year, but not the same order.
Yet. So Hodgson still out front. We're down into Mansfield Corner now. This is where John Reynolds tried to ride across the grass last time round. Doesn't look like he's so far away from it that time either.
It's obviously a line that's working out for him.
Yeah, it worked out for me once or twice, and then I went head over heels. Bottom of the mountain.
So Hodgson pulled away a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think he's making good on that lead now. It seems to be pretty stationary.
Paul Benz, 3rd gear. Quick squirt through the slalom, down towards the hairpin, back to bottom gear, 35, 40 miles an hour here. We're looking back at John Reynolds. He's in 3rd place. We're at Barn Corner now, much modified, made a lot safer than it used to be. Now we're on the start and finish straight. No slipstream coming John Reynolds' way, because already our cameraman is just breaking away from him. That's where he's at his best there. We're into Coppice Corner now. We're on board with Walker, the 2nd place man. He's chasing Neil Hodgson. This is Charlie's Corner, a double apex right-hander with a blind 2nd part of the right-hander onto the back straight. This is where Walker got it loose last time round. No trouble that time. He got good drive. He's behind Hodgson. Back markers are looming. That is going to be a problem here. It's so narrow at Cadwell Park. If you get it wrong and get caught up, you could be in all sorts of trouble. That's Lee Humphries on the R&FX Racing Team Kawasaki.
And Walker was having a look up the inside of Hodgson there for the brakes, but I don't think he was seriously going for a move, just having a good look.
That's the one thing about Chris Walker. He's ever the opportunist. If ever there's an opportunity to make a pass, however slim it may be, he'll take your leg off to take it. Down to Mansfield, another backmarker interview. Hodgson really having to concentrate here. I always reckon he's better to be a 2nd place man when you got backmarkers involved. But then again, if you get them lucky when you're in the lead, you can stick a back marker between you and the bloke behind. No chance there. Reynolds has gone through as well, so no problem with that man.
Reynolds could be the danger man in this. He's been having a good chance to have a look at exactly what those front runners are doing.
What an opening Superbike race today, though. Huge crowds here at Cadwell Park, and I think even your uncle... Oh, I was about to say your uncle Barry Sheen would have been proud to see a crowd like this turn out for him, and I think it's a bigger crowd ever than the Barry Sheen days, Scott.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's barely a bit of grass in sight.
You missed that. You looked down at your paperwork there just as Chris Walker chucked it sideways on the bower. I'd love to see a bit of that.
Yeah, once more. This isn't the best track in the world to be sideways the whole time, but he's managing it.
Yeah, tell me a track he don't. Still looking at 3rd place man John Reynolds out of Charlie's 2nd part of the corner. Named after Charlie Wilkinson. Of course, the previous circuit owner here. Just for a bit of circuit knowledge, I feel like Julian Ryder already. So then, down in the dip, up, out the other side, onto Park. I'm wearing that anorak, Scott.
It must be your age.
Isn't it right? It must be, yeah. At least it's not my width. Into Chris Curve. Now then, keep an eye on Hodgson. Walker taking a tight line. Hodgson out a bit wider. Reynolds out wide too. So Walker liking this part of the track. This is the gooseneck. Really difficult. Looks easy from our camera.
Yes, you don't really, as I said before, you don't get the feel of just how steep up and down this track is in some places. And the bike's forever going light, and it's getting lots of grip as the track goes uphill. Like the first corner, you can't believe how fast you can dive into there because the track starts to go uphill and gives the bike more grip. That corner as well, it suddenly goes uphill, so you get lots of grip, and then all of a sudden you've got no grip because your tyres aren't even on the ground. As
depicted there by Hodgson, Walker, Reynolds et al. As we go through Hall Bends, wait for them at the hairpin now. Look at Walker in there here, he's really manically quick. right onto the rear wheel. The marshals and the ambulance all ready to catch any of the fallers.
Hodger's really good at the foot of the mountain, but then into the hairpin, he seems to lose a little bit to Walker, but Walker's caught up all that difference again now, so he's definitely a danger man again.
The reason I was jumping out of my seat was Reynolds again the other side of the white line. He seems to prefer that 2 inches the other side of the white line, whereas most people like to keep it on the clean tarmac then. Well, I've got to say, who do you fancy Scott out of this? We're on lap 16.
It's a difficult one, but I think Neil hasn't put a foot wrong yet, and we've seen Walker sideways a fair few times.